Hey, good morning everybody. This is BDF44 coming at you with another video. I wanted to follow up the video that I posted yesterday in regards to the passing and the murder of the great Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace. Shouts out to everybody who's been supporting him. Prayers out to his family. I'm one of y'all in terms of the support and the love and the prayers. I'm there. Nipsey affected me in a positive way, just through example and through music. And you know, I just want to give tribute before I get into anything else. With that being said, I'd like to talk about what's being accused. Obviously, I want to clear up what I had yesterday. Yesterday, I had very limited information when I was speaking to you guys. But right now, of course, all the facts have come out, or at least an alleged assassin, is what I'm going to call him, has been named. And the story was similar to what I was told and what I had heard, but it wasn't exact. Basically, this is someone who was a friend of his from his past, who was alleged to have turned snitch via paperwork that was seen by people, not myself. And yeah, Nipsey called him out for it. Dude left, came back with it, and that was the end of the story. But to be completely honest with you, I just think about what's going on with this dude, and I say to myself, and when I say this dude, I mean the person alleged. His name is Shitty Cuz. I'm praying for this dude, because if he was indeed the shooter, which everyone seems to believe at this point, they had eyewitnesses. Obviously, the people who were shot, one of them wasn't even critically injured, so he knows who shot him. He put himself in a position where I don't think he was ready for the consequences of this. The streets are one way. You have somebody you want to kill, you kill them, and you take your time, you do your time, or you get away with it, or you get shot back at, and that's the glory. I get it. That's just what it is. But this wasn't that. When you're dealing with somebody with this much reach, someone who was gaining this much power, someone who had his hands and his interests in different things, someone who was building up the community in such a way that resonated across the world. What he was doing here was resonating across the world. It wasn't just a local hero. This guy had put himself in positions to be rubbing elbows with the likes of Jay-Z and Diddy, you know, hanging out with people of prominence. And look, when you're in circles like that and you're trying to affect change, and you're trying to bring about awareness to something that people have been silenced for, yeah, there are going to be conspiracy theories surrounding what happens to you if something were to take place. That doesn't mean that nothing actually happened, but it means that you were involved in enough to where people would be at least open-minded to the idea of somebody powerful wanting you out of the way. I think after the facts that we have are now embedded in our minds, I think it's safe to say that it's unlikely that what I'm about to say took place. But again, I feel like it's irresponsible to rule out any conspiracies when you're dealing with this specific individual. Rest in peace, Dr. Sebi. When you're talking about him and what he was into, people have lost their lives surrounding this situation. So that was my statement yesterday, and I'm saying it now. If someone who has that type of power, let's say Big Pharma, for example, since everyone wants to use them, if they have the type of power that we believe they have, what is it to go up to Shitty Cuz and tell him, look, I'm cutting off your mama medicine, I'm putting your brother in jail, giving him extra time or what have you, I'm gonna have the IRS crawling up your behind? It's nothing for them to pull them type of strings if they yield that type of power. It's nothing to have somebody by the balls and compel them to do some shit that they don't want to do because they feel like they don't have no other choice. If you telling some random nigga, hey, you gotta do something terrible to a great person, or everybody you love is gonna be affected by this in a negative way, you're gonna be compelled. You're gonna feel sorry. You're gonna wish you didn't do it. Maybe you find the strength within you to not. But the reality is those consequences really can come for those people that you love. Those consequences, those people who are telling you that you need to do this really do have that kind of power. The likelihood of this being the case is low. I'm not saying I'm buying that that's what is going on. I'm just saying that when we're considering what's going on, what names are involved in this situation, who was being targeted and what they were into, it's simply irresponsible to rule out the possibility of this being a bigger deal than what it looks like. Now, with that being said, sometimes it's hard for us, especially as an African American, I should speak for myself, it's hard for me to believe that a person of my skin color, of my race, of my culture, can live for so much, accomplish so much, and die for something, for nothing, for something so frivolous. It's disheartening, and it's a hard pill for me to swallow. And I believe that a lot of people feel the way I do, and that is why they didn't want to believe that this was gang related. They didn't want to believe that this could be something as minor. It's just some hater coming up here with his feelings hurt to take the life of a great man. But the reality is, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a situation where, you know, somebody just decided they just didn't want this man to live no more because their feelings was hurt. So, not to continue to go into a loop, I'll just say this. Wherever we go from here as a community, and I speak as a California, LA native, wherever we go from here, we're going to have to figure out some hard realities. And the harsh reality is, when you make it, and I mean make it like Nipsey has made it, it's hard to stay home, man. Even if you want to do the right things by your hood, even if you want to do the right things, there's a sacrifice that comes with it, and that sacrifice may be your life. Now, I'm not saying that I believe Nipsey would change a thing. I don't know. I didn't know that man from Adam. But my history with people who have that type of determination and heart and legacy, I've seen that they never regret how things go. Now, I'm not saying that I would have any clue what this man would feel. And to be taken away from his family, had he had a chance to survive this thing, maybe he does change his view on how things go. But something tells me that he would not have given up his opportunity to help these people like he has. Something tells me that he wouldn't change much at all. But that's just my own head speaking. And if I could change this, I certainly would. If I could have been there somehow to push him out of the way, I'd have been happy to do that. If I could have been there to put myself in harm's way to protect somebody that I think is doing more than I am, I think that would be worthy. So, you know, what can I say, man? All I got is a camera in my face. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that somebody somewhere just learns a lesson from this situation. And, you know, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn in this situation. But the one thing that I did learn the most out of all of this, more than anything else, is that if you are in a position to, how do I say this? If somebody come up to you, you know they're disgraced, you know they're disgraced in your neighborhood, you should still hold yourself in such a way that is aware of the possibility of whatever they can do to you. That's the lesson we learned. Just because a man is a snitch does not mean that he's docile. Just because a man put himself in a position to fold under real pressure does not mean that he'll fold under the type of pressure that you'll have to face in order to survive a situation and encounter with that person. All I'm saying is, just because a person does some bitch ass shit does not mean that they are a bitch. Just being honest. I hate to end it on that note, but I'm cutting this thing off, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. God bless all of you and your families. And I hope somehow that those who are in a position to follow Nipsey's footsteps don't look at this occurrence and say it's not worth it. Or if Nipsey wasn't able to stay safe in the hood, then why should I even try? That is the thing that I think we need to guard against as a community. We need to guard against that mentality. We can't believe that just because Nipsey's situation ended tragically, that he didn't do enough good to resonate in our lives, enough to make that type of decision going forward with ourselves. This man is heralded and loved because of the decision to do what he did. So had he not done those things, we wouldn't view him the same way. So let's keep that in mind, respect the legacy, respect the sacrifice of it all. And that's it. BDF 44, man, signing out. Peace.